you're diving for lobster, the risks are there. The eels that'll come out and bite you. I know a guy that lost his hand. You have stingrays that sting you. I got hit in my wrist right here, and this whole part of my hand is numb still from it. You have the risk of drowning. Just something you gotta be really careful about when you go, and if you're not a good swimmer, not good at holding your breath, just don't do it. My name's Luke Sandburg, and I hunt for spiny lobster in Los Angeles, California. Difference between the spiny lobster and a Maine, which is the lobster that you'll find in any restaurant. The spiny lobster do not have claws. It's sweeter, almost salty. It's perfect. California spiny lobster is probably one of the most expensive seafood. It's about $38 a pound. They ship all the commercial ones off to Japan. Kind of leaves you with nothing unless you go out and get it. I work at brick and mortar, waiting tables. Later, buddy. So, done with work, time to get on the bike and cruise down to the boat. This is the last days of lobster season.
We got till midnight.
So we should go out and have a good time. It looks like it's gonna glass off a bit, and we'll see if we can't catch anything. I ride my bike to work every day. No reason to drive. Say from work to the boat, say 3 miles. Yeah, Aaron, what's up? We are in the heart of Venice Beach.
We got one of the youngest professional dancers right here.
A lot of action going on this Sunday. So it's winter time, unusually warm. It's about 85 degrees right now. It's pretty nice, so I can't complain. That's why I moved here. We're out here on Venice Pier right now, checking out the visibility of the water to see what we have to look forward to tonight. Looks like there's a little bit of swell though, which stirs up the water. The water's pretty bad there no matter what. So if you can see a little bit there, you're pretty much golden. Looks like we got about 8 feet of visibility, which isn't that good, but it should be better over there. I first started lobster diving. I had a friend, Albert Cullen. He used to swim around Palos Verdes and he saw lobster in the water. So he told me one day that, hey, there's lobster in there. All we need to do is have mask and fins and snorkel. And after that, I was addicted. I was hooked. I live on my boat in Marina del Rey. This is the cheapest way to live on waterfront. $325 a month for mine. I wouldn't have to really buy food if I focused on that. The lobster that I catch, I can trade for other things. And if I had a big enough freezer, I could definitely freeze it and make it a full year. In a season, probably the most amount of lobster when I was doing it almost every day. Probably about 100 lobster. I kept most of those lobster that I caught. I sold a few. Friends of friends that wanted to have lobster, and it always helps out, you know, especially when your gear's needing fixed up or getting new gear. Most of the funds that I get go back towards it. Got the fins, got the tank, mask and a snorkel, the Kevlar gloves. When you're grabbing the lobster, we have the California spiny lobster, so they have spines everywhere. Helps protect your hands when you grab them. You still get punctured every once in a while, but every time you get punctured, you have a nice little infection for a week or two, but it's worth it. All right, the old kayak ready? Gonna have to launch her. We're shooting a porn, David. You want to get in it? We need a bottom. Out there. From my boat to where I go dive for lobster is about a 45-minute paddle.
Close, I can smell it. It smells like freedom.
It's probably only 100, 200 yards off of Venice Beach, so very, very close.
This is ridiculous.
Holy fucking sunset.
All right, now we gotta set the anchor. I gotta put the gear on, and then I drop into the water. We gotta make sure that we're far enough away from the rocks so we don't get pushed into it while we're under.
It always takes a while to find the lobster because your senses aren't focusing on that. There's so much going on and so many colors and they blend in really well. Until you see your first one. And it seems after that you start seeing them everywhere. I ended up grabbing a whole lot of lobster that were just that close to being legal. They're too short, you can see, because you have a lobster gauge that you put on the carpus, which is the top body. It's right in between the prongs where their eyes are and where the tail is. Night diving is definitely a whole different world. It's something that not many people probably would do or want to do. You go down and you have a light, you still have that sketchy feeling like something's always behind you when you're doing it. I had the GoPro on top of the light, and then I noticed a second later that it was gone. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to turn my light off and have it there until my eyes adjusted that I could see a red light flickering, and I was able to go grab that camera. And when I shut off that light and I was sitting in the darkness, the only way to describe it is when you stand up too fast, you completely black out and you have to hold on to something and you see the little sparks. So underwater, there's dinoflagellates that have bioluminescence in them. And so when I shut off the light, they were kind of sparking around. It's black and that's about all it was. Usually at 500 PSI, I come up. That's when you're pretty much out of air. I was at 15 feet of water and you can safely surface at that zone. Fortunately, right when I started running out of air, a giant lobster was hidden in a hole. All I could see were these monster antennas. And I went up, grabbed it, and I struggled pulling it out. As I was pulling it out, my air started going out. It's when you can't really breathe on the regulator, so I took as much breath as I could and got him out, yanked him, finally got him out, grabbed him, bear hugged him, and swam straight to the surface. And when I got up, oh boy, was I glad. And I looked at that thing, it was huge. One of the biggest lobster I've caught, ever.
That'll feed everybody. It's gotta be 5 or 7 pound lobster right here. It's gotta be at least 10, 15 pound lobster. It's probably a 20 pound lobster right here. It's about a 50 pound lobster right here.
I got 3, doesn't seem like much.
This guy's about probably 2 pounds. Put him inside the hatch. Shut it down, lock it up.
And I paddled back to the boat. It's just something so peaceful about that, all the rush that you had while you were diving. And then you kayak back and the whole water's lit up by the city lights and the reflection's just beautiful. There's no more wind, it's just complete calm, and it's just like, oh, success, and just the feeling is euphoric. I can't really describe it.
Not bad at all.
I made it back, uploaded the kayak.
You. a bad day. It's nice California spiny lobster. Sometimes you just gotta let them claw all over you. Let's call the friends. No, what's up, guys? You made it.
Made it. How are you?
Doing good. You? What up, brother?
So I called up 5 of my boys, and they all shot down pretty quick.
How'd the catch go?
It's good. Got a few good ones. Gonna eat really good tonight, guys. Just giving these guys a hug. It's one happy family of bugs. Ow. So with these lobster, threw them on ice, let them cool off a little bit. They get into a coma state with that. Just gonna break them right in half. Oh, it's screaming at me. So pretty simple what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna get a little bit of butter cut. I'm just gonna stuff the cavity right now because it'll drain out of the cavity. Fresh lemon, boom. Squeeze down the line with that. And a little bit of rub. I like this one, it's a chipotle cinnamon garlic rub. And off to the grill we go.
A couple small lobsters right there. Nothing is not fitting on that grill. No.
Oh, we'll get it in there. At least half at a time. That is what you call a full grill of lobster.
It barely fit onto that barbecue. I had to push the legs in to shut it. Even then, the barbecue wouldn't shut, so it's kind of nice having a lobster that doesn't fit on the barbecue.
And the fourth and final special ingredient, a little Mama's Boy infused tequila. I gotta flip that bottom one though.
No, Luke, enjoy that.
Enjoy it, Luke.
Enjoy your lobster.
Seriously, bro.
Right there.
Oh, it's so good.
Love it. That's super sweet.
This one.
You know the little ones are sweeter, huh?
Oh, so good. Sweet, delicious.
That's sweet, yeah.
Super sweet. Everything's
Yeah,
amazing
hold that.
about
Let's
it.
kill on it.
You know what? This big one's amazing.
Yeah, this is actually one
I think the
this
big
is-
one's the best
This is the
one.
best tasting one.
I'm serious. Yeah.
The big one's the best. It's way above average, sir. This lobster is way above average.